Hello fellow nerdmaids and nerdmaids-to-be, my name is Faith and this is Courtney Mermaid, and today we'll be giving you a guide on how to be safe when you swim in your mermaid tails. Number 1, know how to wear your tail and swim in it. This is pretty important.
Alright parents, don't be stupid when you take your kids to the pool so they can swim in their mermaid tails.
Make sure your child knows the swimming essentials on how to swim in a mermaid tail. This is extremely important.
And definitely do practice those essential skills before you just jump right into your mermaid tail.
Second point, where to swim safely.
Don't swim in areas with a current if you are inexperienced.
I like to swim mostly in public pools or lakes, not oceans or rivers. It's not the best idea, it's not a pleasant experience. Hey! I don't want people to be dragged under by undertow, especially if they're not using the best monofin. Make sure that you have experience if you're gonna go out into the open ocean. You know, just be safe, guys.
So check with your local pool to see what their policy is on mermaid tails.
Call, "Hi front desk, can I be connected to the guard room?" And they'll be like, "Okay," and then you'll be put on hold, and then you say, "Hi, I was wondering if my daughter is allowed to swim in her mermaid tail." And they'll usually say, let me check the aquatic supervisor. "Hey, are mermaid tails okay?" "Yeah, you might just need to do a swim test." "Okay, thanks." That's how it works. Oh, speaking of, who's calling me? Third point, supervision.
Always swim with a buddy, a parent, or your mertender.
This is a big do. It's always better to swim with a friend. A non-mermaid friend is great to be your legs, but it's also great to have a friend who also has a mermaid tail to, you know, make you feel less awkward. We're gonna talk about this more in Courtney's video. When I first started mermaiding, pretty much all the time I would bring my younger sister with me to help me film, help me put on my tail.
Alright, and if you're a kid, don't be embarrassed by your parents. Most of the time, they're just as excited to see you in a mermaid tail as you are.
Especially if you're younger, it's a good thing to have your parents with you. We've got a couple members of our pod who their parents faithfully attend our meetups and just kind of stay and watch, and honestly, I think they're just as excited as they're merling.
Alright, a special note for parents, do not leave your children unsupervised. This is a biggie.
As a lifeguard, it makes me feel a lot better if there's someone who maybe needs a little bit extra supervision, even if they're over the age of 7, that they've got their parents kind of keeping a closer eye on them in case something goes wrong.
So also make sure you guys aren't swimming alone in any unsupervised areas.
Especially if you're someone who's maybe a bit older like me or doesn't have any friends. When I was in high school, I would a lot of times just go to the pool by myself during my spare blocks just to swim, but I would always make sure that, you know, the lifeguards knew where I was at. I wouldn't just jump into a lake by myself. That's a stupid idea. Always be supervised, especially if you're not going to be swimming with anybody right next to you. Point number 4, donning your tail.
This is my favorite point. Put your tail on right next to the pool, yeah? Okay? I do not want to see you hopping in your tail, and it makes me want to rip all my hair out, as it takes one mermaid to trip, fall into the pool, hurt herself, do something stupid. Just either take it off, or if you don't want to ruin an illusion, just butt scooch or get someone to carry you. Like in that Fin Fun Mermaid video where they made that a bit of a joke. No, it's serious. Your feet are tied together. You've got a flipper that's like 3 feet wide at the end of your feet. That's not going to go well for you. Don't hop in your tail. Do go into the shallow end first.
When you're first starting mermaiding, it's always a little bit of a different experience, and I wouldn't recommend jumping into the deep end. Even if you're a good swimmer, you want to take it slow. Make sure that you're staying within your limits. Know your limits, swim within it.
If you're an inexperienced swimmer / mermaid, don't start off with the full tail right away. You're gonna want to start off with either flippers and a monofin. You get really comfortable with that, and then you work your way up. If you want that mermaid look sooner rather than later, you can get mermaid printed leggings, like scale printed. Yeah, not VancouverMermaid.com. You can get these leggings. That'll give you sort of a halfway mermaid look, but you definitely don't want to just throw the tail on right away, because that could lead to all kinds of problems. You got to make sure you're a really competent, comfortable in the water swimmer first before you just throw a mermaid tail on, toss your kid in the pool, and hope for the best.
Also, side note about this is something that drives mermaids in the community crazy. Don't start with a silicone tail, idiot! Oh! As people who both don't have silicone tails, we want to pull our hair out at people that are like, "I'm gonna be a mermaid," and then just buy a silicone tail. It's like, just get a fin fun to start! Do protect your mermaid tail with a towel or a mat or something, because sometimes you need to like drag it over your butt, or when you're hopping out, it's just a better idea to protect it a little bit. And I always like to take my tails off in the water instead of like shimmying out of them on the pool deck. It's just a better idea for your mermaid tails. Number 5, swimming.
So you do want to build up confidence working your way towards putting on a full mermaid tail.
On the topic of confidence and building up your competency in a mermaid tail, don't drown and ruin it for the rest of us. It only takes one incident where someone is stupid and puts on a mermaid tail and just decides to go swim and then realizes they can't and drowns, and then it gives us a bad rep. Just don't do it, people.
So be ultra aware of other people in the pool with you. Like, I'm almost 10 feet long and I'm not even kidding you. I've been measured in my mermaid tail, I know. So I have to be really aware when I'm swimming around and I'm not like whipping my tail out, slapping some poor kid in the head or something stupid, right?
When I first started, I had a fin fun tail, which, you know, those monofins aren't huge, but I'm 5 feet tall. I'm not used to being that much taller, and so with the monofin, I was so sketched out by bumping into things and bumping into people because I didn't realize how long I was with this tail. And then about 2 years later, I got my mermaid cat monofin, and the same thing happened. I was like bumping into the walls. I was like, what's going on? Oh, I'm an extra foot longer. So account for that when you're practicing with your mermaid tail. Know that you're gonna be a little bit longer.
Also, you'll see in some of my footage, I actually, if I've like miscalculated or something and I'm like, okay, I think I'm coming up to something, I just put a hand out. Just put your hands out. But always be super aware because accidents can happen and you do not want to smash head first into a wall because ouch.
As a mermaid, you know, we spend a lot of time under the water. That's what we like to do. When you surface, just make sure you kind of like look around and see, okay, where am I? My coworkers all swim in the deep end and they'll be like, hey Faith, we're opening up the 5 meter, because they know that I spend a lot of time underwater and I could be swimming underneath the platform where people jump off. So it's a good idea just to make sure that you know where people are jumping from. Do be nice to the lifeguards. There's times when I go to pools and they're like, yeah, you need to do a swim test, and I'm like, do you know who I am? I'm a lifeguard, okay? I can swim like 800 meters in like 7 minutes. But no, just do your freaking swim test, smile and nod. Last one, this is also very important in case of an emergency.
It is really important that you guys know how to take off your tails quickly in an emergency.
My main method of taking off my tails is to kind of wiggle my feet halfway out of the monofin, pull my tail down about halfway, and then usually from there I can swim out of it. It's always different for each tail. For some of my tails it takes me a lot longer to take off, like my Finis Luna. So make sure that you know how to take them off quickly. A lot of times I can get one foot out and then I just use my hands to take out the other foot.
Don't panic if you're distressed. I know as somebody who gets chronic foot cramps, and I mean chronic, it's horrible. And I also get them right there and right there and then here, which is fantastic because breathing becomes a really interesting thing because every time you breathe and you're like, huh, but it hurts. So I have a couple of things that I'll do to not panic. I breathe 4 in, hold, and then 4 out, and then hold for like the count of 1, so like seconds. And I will do this just to have repetitive breathing, just consistently. It'll help calm me down.
To float on your back, if you don't know, how I kind of do it is I do a little potato chip action with my monofin. I'll kind of bring one tip up, then bring the other tip up, let it rest on the surface. Bring your arms out above your head and be still and relaxed, and stay there for a little while until you feel a little bit better. If your like anxiety has gone down, if your foot cramps go down, that kind of thing. So if there is an actual emergency, like a power outage, if someone's injured and lifeguards need to get in the water, just get out of your tail, get out of the water. Your safety is the #1 priority. And speaking of taking off your tail, do wear swim bottoms underneath your tail. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Comment below any thoughts you have about swimming in mermaid tails in public pools, any experiences you've had. Let us know your thoughts. Subscribe to myself as well as Courtney Mermaid, because she is awesome. Fun fact, she was actually the very first mermaid YouTuber I ever watched. Except for maybe like Mermaid Linden when I was like, mermaids. And then I was like, how do you actually be a mermaid? And I searched up Vancouver mermaid and I found Courtney! This was 3 years ago when I was an awkward and insecure mermaid. Yeah, you're the first mermaid channel I ever watched.
That's so cool.
So yeah, you should definitely subscribe to Courtney because she's awesome. She also filmed a collab on her channel, so you should definitely check it out. I'll leave a link in a little box for you to enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already to see more of my face and whatever weird thing I get up to next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!
Bye!
I feel short.
I'm sorry.
Just give yourself a little bit more headroom.